what a day for Mark Fogel. What a very long 3 years. Jeff Zeleny, thank you very much for that reporting.
Sure.
I'm going to bring it back in this room. This is also a pivotal moment for, as Jeff has been talking about, Russia-U.S. relations. One of the biggest questions here is, what did Russia get? Now, I'm just going to fill you in and also our audience what we've learned over the last couple of hours. You heard the president there saying it was fair. We also heard his envoy for hostage affairs, Adam Bowler, earlier tonight with Caitlin Collins saying it may not be one-to-one exchange. It may not be anyone at all. There's no way Putin is not going to get anything out of this deal. He wants something.
Yeah, I'm sure there was an exchange. I look forward to hearing the details. And I hope President Trump is right that this leads to a further set of conversations about how to bring peace to the region. I mean, what an amazing and emotional thing to hear this guy describe his feelings as he goes into the White House. He described Donald Trump as a hero. This is a great day for all Americans. It's a great day for the Trump administration, and it may just be the beginning of the end of this hostility over there that has killed so many people. So if that's what this all results in, I'm sure that whatever the exchange was, we may judge as being a good thing if it leads to some peace in a place where people have had none.
Well, yeah, I do really hope that, that this deal is better than the Brittany Griner deal, because that, in my opinion, was absolutely disastrous. But whatever it takes to get the Americans home. Looking at the bigger picture, just as an American citizen, it's so nice to feel seen by your president. Like, I travel to a lot of countries, and I go to safer places than Russia, for sure. But it's nice to know you have a president who cares about you. I didn't even know that we had 7 Americans that were being held hostage in Venezuela until Trump brought them home, because there was no media outrage like there was with Brittany Griner, for example. So now seeing that he actually cares for the people, and now seeing the Americans come home and finally appreciate the beauty and privilege of living in this country, it's a really beautiful sight.
There were many prisoners, wrongfully detained Americans who were brought home under President Biden. And frankly, I didn't say they were. I covered Trump, I covered Biden. They are working constantly. The people in that hostage affairs office, they are salt of the earth, nonpartisan individuals. They are fighting every single day to bring people home, and that was happening under Biden too.
Yeah, but you can't deny that Trump just has a different aura on doing so.
I think you can't actually deny it, and I actually take a good bit of offense to the Brittany Griner references. I want to back up just a little bit and simply say that today's a good day, and I'm glad that he's brought home. And the reason I'm glad he's brought home is because I place that inherent value and give each American the benefit of their humanity, whether or not they are this gentleman or Paul Whelan or Trevor Reed or her name is Brittany Griner. And so I think we have to give everyone that same value, and to castigate or for some reason make the public believe that Brittany Griner should still be in Russia doing that hard labor and those menial tasks and sleeping on those floors when she too is an American, I just have a fundamental problem with. And I think that today, instead of picking apart, and I don't even know what the deal was, but I will venture out and say that the price of an American soul, someone to come home and be with their 95-year-old mother, I think is worth the value. So Donald Trump and Steve Witkoff, they get that respect from me tonight, as they should from every American. But the difference, though, is that you should be able to formulate an opinion that says the same thing when Joe Biden went out and got Paul Whelan, when he got Evan Gershowitz, when he got Trevor Reed, when he got Brittany Griner, because everybody deserves the benefit of their humanity.
I mean, all I said was I hope the deal was not giving a convicted arms dealer back to Russia.
One last thing on this issue, because I think on the Ukraine front, we should just be prepared for what's coming. The president sent Scott Bessent, his Treasury Secretary, to Ukraine. He said in an interview over the weekend that maybe Ukraine might be a part of Russia, maybe they won't. He seemed to suggest that the United States wanted payments from Ukraine in exchange for what the United States has given them. What do you think this all foretells about where this could be headed?
Listen, President Trump and the campaign made it very clear he wants to see an end to the war, and he wanted to see a peace deal. Now, the challenge with that is when Russia invaded Ukraine and started this war, to suggest a peace deal means that Ukraine has to give something up, when truly the answer to this whole problem is Russia should just leave Ukraine alone.
But Ukraine will likely have to give something up. The question is how much.
And this is what ends up being the win, right? This is a win for the idea that if you are big and powerful enough, you can roll into another country and take pieces of it. And frankly, we are hearing similar rhetoric from the United States right now about the 51st state of Canada, about taking back the Panama Canal and Greenland. So it is all part of a narrative of might is right.
So Rula Jibril is with us right now. I want to talk about the other major story that's unfolding this week in the Middle East when it comes to Gaza. President Trump, again, today suggested that the United States would have ownership over Gaza. And he said it when he was sitting next to the King of Jordan. So how is that being interpreted?
I mean, I think the Arab League convened immediately a summit, and they immediately rejected en masse the whole idea. He cannot own Gaza because it's not his. Plus, you know, Gazan and Palestinians' right to return and live in their own country is enshrined in international law. What President Trump seems not to understand, that international law is not option. And it's not an option for Putin or for him. And the worst thing that he is now threatening to withhold aid from two major allies.
Although he did
Jordan
walk that
and Egypt.
back. I was just going to ask you. I mean, today he suggested, okay, maybe we won't do that.
Because he understood it's not a charity. This is what he didn't understand before, and he understood it today when the King of Jordan explained to him this was about a peace and security deal that these two allies actually signed with the United States, and they were the first actually to normalize relationship with Israel, the first actually to stand up when the Iranians sent the missile in April. Who stood up to that and basically shut down the missile? It was Jordan because of that peace deal. If we decide that that peace deal is null and void, all hell can break truly loose, and then you will find yourself in a war with 400 million people in an entire region that today reject that proposition. Not only because it's illegal, but because simply this is the same argument and the same issue that triggered all of this conflict for the last 75 years.
This is not the first time actually that this has been put on the table, and the first time it was pretty disastrous what occurred afterwards.
Yeah, a couple things. Number one, the reason we're here with this hostage situation this weekend is because Hamas decided to stop participating in the deal that was brokered as Donald Trump was coming into office.
Actually, the Israeli newspapers today says that Israel violated the ceasefire.
I know what your position is. I know what your position is.
Not my position. It's the Israeli newspaper and the New York Times and Israeli politician.
But our ally is Israel, and you can't trust Hamas.
But our allies violated the ceasefire.
And who started it in the beginning? Who started it in the first place?
Israel violated the ceasefire, killed 100 Palestinians during the ceasefire.
Finish, and then you can go.
We're here because Hamas kidnapped, raped, and murdered, and now they're violating this deal, which wasn't even a great deal to begin with. It did get a few people back, which I'm sure is the best of what we're going to see. And so what Donald Trump is trying to do right now is get this thing moving again, because these people need to come back. That's number one. Number two, I think he just wants the other states in the Middle East to do something.
They already offered him to do something.
And to take ownership of some people here, to take responsibility for their own region, and I hope they do.
Well, can I say something? I'm so sorry. There's the only one that actually put the proposition on the table 4 times. And this is where it's honestly, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm sorry to say, President Trump doesn't know what he's talking about.
I'm sorry that you and I disagree, but I have a position and it's valid.
There is an Arab Peace Initiative that is already on the table. The Arab Peace Initiative was put in 2002, 2007, 2017, and 2024. 57 Arab and Muslim countries together told the world at the United Nations this year, again for the 4th time, they're willing to guarantee Israel's security. They're willing to reconstruct and rebuild Gaza and pay for it. They're willing also basically to normalize all of them together with Israel on one condition: end the military occupation that's been lasting for 58 years.
All right, Rula, go ahead.
As I say, the irony, of course, of all of this is that President Trump probably thinks he owns or can develop Gaza because, one, he does look at things as real estate deals, and two, part of why Gaza has been leveled is because of the United States continued supply of military weapons to its ally Israel. So I can see how he would, on a very basic level, make that connection. It's something that Jared Kushner did about the West Bank in the first Trump administration.
Go ahead.
I just want to remind you that the 400 million Arabs you're talking about surrounding the Palestinian territory have not done anything the last 494 days to ensure any safety of Palestinians. They've in fact shut their borders down, refused to take in any refugees. It is until today, until King Abdullah today said we'll take 2,000 children, basically doing Trump a favor. Trump had to light that fire under them. No, it's absolutely true.
Do you know,
Nobody has been helping in developing a
solution. Is a lie.
Well, then they
there are many Palestinians, basically in Jordan, in Qatar, in Jordan, and in Egypt.
Palestinians. Kuwait failed Palestinians. Egypt had Gaza. They didn't give them Palestinians.
So Emily,
you have today.
Emily and Rula, just a second, because we can't hear you, and we have 1 more minute left in the show. So Rula, please respond quickly, and then we'll call it a day.
the Arab Peace Initiative, I think the best thing we can achieve, they're telling you they're willing to pay to guarantee Israel's security, and basically also to solve this conflict that's been the driver of all violence in the Middle East and in the region.
So who's eradicating Hamas in that deal?
They're willing to take over Gaza, basically rebuild it for the Palestinians in the next 3 years. There are 2 million Palestinians.
But Hamas is ruling them.
According to Israel, there's only 20,000.
Leave it there, Emily and Rula. We're going to have to leave it there because